Star Trek Prodigy, Season 2, Episode 4 Review. Temporal Mechanics 101. So, we finally got to see Temporal Mechanics 101.
Fun fact, the voice actress who voices Dr. Aaron is actually an astrophysicist and a science communicator.
Yeah, you want to avoid quantum realities, apparently, but occasionally you need to give history a little shove.
And she is a consultant on the Star Trek series, like the various Star Trek series.
Yeah,
which I thought
not
fun fact.
It's not that crazy. It's like, oh yeah, you're a science communicator. Yeah, okay. We already have you on staff, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just.
You're talking about here. Explain it to us. Like we're 12.
Yeah. Here's Prodigy. We need Temporal Mechanics 101. So have you explain it like that.
Here, have at it. But I mean, we knew he would get to there eventually.
Yeah.
And can you give us everything you have on Temporal Mechanics 101? Coming right up. You can just see the grumble in his face when he did that.
It's nice that it was a video and not actually having to read stuff.
I mean, it's the 25th century. Yeah, 25th century.
Well, that would be no, it would be 24th century because they're in the 23 such and such.
Oh, it's 23. So it's the 24th century.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if it was 24 or 20, if it was the 2000.
Let's see. Wait, were they? Okay, it depends on where they were at the moment. Were they filmed 52 years into the future at that point?
Yeah, they were.
So technically, they were in the
24th century.
24th century. Or 25th century, because it would be 24 something or other.
Yeah, because it was like 2380 something, right?
Yeah,
so 2430s.
So yeah, they were technically at that moment in the 25th century, but they were looking at stuff from the 24th century.
Yeah.
I think that's straight. There's enough temporal nonsense to not mess up that.
I love the fact that she mentions in the Temporal Mechanics 101 that don't think too hard on it, it'll give you a headache.
Yeah.
So you want to build a time machine? Well, there's Q.
Yeah, I love the get on the wrong side of a Q. Slingshot around a star, or use a wormhole.
Okay, I don't get the star. I get the wormhole.
Okay, so what star? You could technically use a black hole, and the black hole would be more efficient, but it would be more difficult to get out of the gravity well, because what happens is gravity and gravity and space time are interlinked, and space time is basically like a tapestry, and the more massive something is, not large but massive, like the more weight gravity something has, the more it warps space time. And because of that, you can use that warping to create a temporal field and travel through time. It creates basically temporal energy or whatever, because of how much it's warping space-time. It's kind of like if you put a bowling ball on a trampoline and you try to roll marbles across it, and those marbles will start to get spin around that indentation from the bowling ball. Yeah. But by warping space, it's also warping time. Although technically, as far as quantum mechanics goes, like in the real world, you can't really go back in time using that. That's more of a slingshot to the future type thing, because it slows down time for you while time around you speeds up. So I don't really know how that would work because, the time in your specific location is slower than time outside of the gravity well.
It depends on, basically time passing depends upon what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
If you're going fast, time goes
actually,
slow for you and goes regular for everybody else.
Actually, the higher up you are, the older you are. Like if you live in a skyscraper, you're technically nanoseconds older than somebody who lives on the bottom floor. Just because that height, or wait, no, I think you're older up there. Younger? I forget. But
you're going faster because your tangential velocity is greater because you're farther away from the center. So you would be going faster, so time would be going slower for you. So if you had a twin on the bottom floor and you lived on the top floor of a skyscraper, your twin, assuming like you're not traveling particularly fast or you're traveling fast at about the same amount, you would be your clock, if you handed both of you a clock, like if it was super duper precise, you could tell that, like it would have to be so ridiculously precise to tell, like
actually,
but it would be
done those experiments.
Yes, but it was with the space shuttle.
Station.
Yeah,
the International Space Station. Yeah,
they had a twin shuttle or something. I don't know. Basically, you're going really fast, so you hand one twin this, you hand one twin the other, and then you compare the clocks when they get back, and the person who went to space is going to be a little bit younger because space, because they went faster, so time flowed a little bit slower for them. But yeah, and then we do get percussive maintenance, which is
yes. I was actually like shouting that to the screen, like, look, like even my nephew's like, use percussive maintenance, damn it, hit it.
Yeah, and we've got enough. What's going to be interesting is like the first half of this show is going to be them noticing all the temporal shenanigans going on, and then the back half of them is them going back and dealing and actually performing all the temporal shenanigans they needed in order to fix the problems so that what actually happens because they know what was changed, and so they have to go back and make sure that happens. It's sort of
they don't want to lose Gwen, but
yeah, it's a bit of the what had to have happened behind Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It's like, we're coming back afterwards, and we're gonna go back in time before you and put this in.
Yeah, it's like, it's okay, dude. We're just gonna like come back later and put a key so that we can break ourselves out. Key should be like right here. Whoa, dude. I still say that's one of Keanu Reeves' best movies. I really want to see that one again. The Bill and Ted is like awesome. Excellent.
But what was I gonna say? Okay, so we now we got
Zero's got a little crush.
Oh my.
Zero's got a little crush on the Vulcan. Zero. It's like, you are the least illogical of your friends. Like, oh my, thank you. Oh, they got a little crush.
And also the thing was odd was that one of the things I'm jumping around a little bit here. Okay, granted, Rok-Tahk is probably way smarter and way better knowledgeable about science than anybody in her own age group.
Yeah.
But you don't have a science officer that would know everything Rok-Tahk
Okay.
knows and more.
If you remember in the first season, Rok-Tahk spent
Oh yeah,
what
I'm
was
not
it,
saying she
months?
doesn't have.
No, but she has a speciality in quantum mechanics because of that time she was trying to fix the ship when it was shattered into different time zones. Remember? So she has that specific knowledge.
Also, you
You noticed Janeway does have a science officer, and she directed her question to the science officer. But the science officer doesn't have that specific information that Rok-Tahk does because she's dealt with that before.
Still.
And that's the only reason Rok-Tahk knows it is because she's literally dealt with, intimately with quantum mechanics before when they were on the Protostar.
Yeah, and also you gotta look at it that probably Janeway doesn't want to tell a lot of people except the people that already know, because probably trying to keep this like hush hush.
Well, yeah, but her science
Oh,
officer
Jellicoe's
does
pissed
already
if he
know.
finds out about all this.
Oh yeah.
I'm just imagining Jellicoe with this just vein in his forehead, just throbbing.
I'm sorry. I know it's his name, and I know he's a canon character from Next Generation, but every time I hear his name, I think of cats.
Oh God,
Jellicoe Cats.
Oh, Calico Cats, Jellicoe Cats.
No,
Okay.
The musical Cats. They were Jellicoe Cats.
Oh, okay. Hadn't seen
I'm
it.
talking about the play. I'm talking about the Broadway play. I liked the Broadway play. The movie was what the fuck is going on, but I liked the play. The Broadway play where like specifically the one they aired on PBS because they put like little special effects and stuff, and it was in the 90s. So I actually think I might still have it on VHS somewhere. Recorded from PBS, where they put little like like little how hand drawn like electricity sparks in there with the little pyrotechnic poofs of electricity and stuff of like lightning. But yeah, every time I hear his name, I think of Jellicoe Cats.
Yeah, he's got. Yeah, I just
he gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I have this feeling like I just got a shudder. I don't know why.
It's one of those
What
like
is it? Picard or is it Janeway? Who's pissing me off right now and I don't know about it yet?
Like
it's
in
one
the
of you two.
Where it's like in the animes where it's like he is busy doing something else and then all of a sudden he just like sneezes and just like, all right, who's
Yeah. Like somebody's up to shenanigans. And my prime suspects are Picard and Janeway. Now, which one of you is up to shenanigans? Shenanigans, I say. Shenanigans.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But yeah, the point is Rok-Tahk knows because Rok-Tahk's dealt with it. Science officer he was still intelligent, and she didn't direct the question to Rok-Tahk. But Rok-Tahk answered it because she knew the answer because she directly dealt with that exact scenario.
And Rok-Tahk is awesome.
She is. She's adorable. Also, that whole the whole who the hell is Murph talking to kind of reminds me of the time agents from Enterprise.
Yeah, the shadow.
Temporal Cold War.
The shadow guy from that. It's like,
yeah, I'm just like, no, no, I say.
Yeah,
It was bad enough in Enterprise. We don't need it here.
And no way is the last episode of this series. Jonathan Frakes is banned from the
Yeah,
from being in the
Frakes
last
is not-
episode of this series.
Yes.
Yeah, my theory of this is probably them sending themselves a message is not that strong anymore.
I mean, unless it's Murph sending it from the future somehow. It's like a future Murph. But
Yeah.
then again, that means Murph learned how to talk, and I don't think the slime, the whatever slime guys know how to communicate.
Well, they dramatically changed from being what he was originally to that. So
To a badass ninja.
Maybe that's the evolution, not evolution, but that's the sort of development cycle of Murph's species is worm.
The slime is slug to humanoid to humanish.
Yeah, or maybe we'll find out later because we know so little about it. Like maybe the way this species develops is it sort of absorbs from what's around it. And so they all start out as slugs, and then whatever they're around a lot, they start to take on attributes of that thing. And so they were, Murph was around a lot of humanoids, so when he sort of metamorphized into more of a humanoid thing, and so he's developing into even more of a humanoid thing.
Possibly. I mean,
we know nothing about the species from what I understand, so
I mean, we at least know his species name, so it's not a complete unknown. Like, when he went through that scanner thing in the first season, I believe they were able to identify his species as some sort of something slime. I forget what it was. Started with an M, melanoid slime or something like that.
Yeah.
But
that doesn't really tell you anything.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe this, just don't know enough about the slime to know what its life path looks like, and if it naturally goes more humanoid and more intelligent as, like, well, not intelligent necessarily, is more able to communicate itself. We can tell.
I was right. Melanoid slime worm.
Okay. But he's not a worm now, so
yeah,
that could just be named after what the sort of baby form of that species is, and as it matures, that species becomes more, maybe it naturally becomes more humanoid and eventually achieves speech, because it takes more effort to create the necessary structures to speak than to just move around and be goopy, sort of.
Well, apparently it's a pre-established thing because it was mentioned in Next Generation. Well, whilst Wesley was on taking his exams, he was called the dude that bumped into him called him a melanoid slime worm.
Yeah.
But but by 2384, the Federation didn't know much about the biology of melanoid slime worms.
Yeah,
they evolved from aquatic sea life, nearly indestructible. They're fond of ingesting random improbable objects, such as pieces of mechanical equipment or even proton grenades. So yeah, not a lot is known about them, but
yeah, they could throw just about any lore at this at Murph, and it would be fine because it's not contradicted by anything else. He's the first melanoid slime worm that we know anything about. So we're basically 100% of our knowledge comes from Murph. And so once like more of what he is gets revealed, then that's when we'll know.
Well, all we know now is that he's cute.
Yes, he is adorable. He is adorable. And my nephew wants a plushie of him, which I cannot find a plushie of him to save my life.
Which seems like I guess Prodigy didn't do well enough that they made merch, made much in the way of merch.
I mean, they have a video game.
Yeah, I suppose that, but it might have been just,
And they have like shirts and stuff.
Yeah, but it might not. I don't know. That seems like a really if you're going to make merch for that show, a Murph plushie or squishy seems
have
like
action figures of it, because on Amazon they have a Dalrell and Murph action figure, and they have Murph.
Hello?
Maybe lost signal or something.
Scared me for a second. I thought my Skype died.
Yeah, but what they could have, the other thing is that he's slimy, so making a good plushie does, to make it look right, like it has to be more of a squishy than a plushie.
No.
So
Still there.
Yeah, maybe she just had to mute for reasons.
No, not mute either. I think there's some technical difficulties. Because when they
Okay.
do it, there's a little microphone symbol by their thing.
Okay, but yeah, so some sort of slime thing.
No. What
that
you
would-
do is this.
Yeah.
No, here's what your camera's on.
It's okay. It's my hand is covering it.
Okay.
But no. I'm trying to get to it. My phone is acting up.
No, here's what you do. You just take a tub of slime, and just stick a sticker that says Murph on it.
No, you know what'd be really cool? Have you know how they have those like Stretch Armstrongs, and they have the Stretch Armstrong like Batman and stuff.
Yeah.
A Stretch Murph.
Yeah.
So like Murph shaped, but stretchy.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, they have action figures, T-shirts, songs, but they do not have Murph plushies.
Yeah, that seems like a missed opportunity.
It really does. Because I mean, who wouldn't want a plushie Murph?
Let's see. That's nice. That's one of the things about this show is that it's once you get into it, once you're at sort of things are moving along, like
I see some homemade Murph plushies.
Yeah.
Good.
Probably like Etsy or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a shorter runtime, so there's less to talk about per episode.
I mean, there's the the dad seems pretty cool until they get to the future and he's a complete monster again. But
yeah, you can kind of understand.
And I mean, I get it from a like character development standpoint, because he watched his entire world destroyed because of the Civil War, and he's trying to stop it from happening. So I get it, but at the same time, it's weird to like compare the two of them, you know,
Yeah.
him in the present and him in the future, because they're so he changes so much.
Mm. And Gwen's got her mobile emitter.
Yeah.
I know it was a phase discriminator or whatever he called it.
Yeah.
Whatever technobabble they said, we've locked you into a for you're here. We've got you. It's not a permanent solution, but we've got you. You're not fluxing in and out anymore.
She's Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah. I mean, she is a pretty cool cat.
Yeah. Meow.
Oh.
What else?
And I will refrain from making the indecent joke about how Dal wants her cat. He for somebody who's not his girlfriend, he was pretty cuddly with her.
No, I love the part. It's like none of this is logical.
Welcome to Temporal Mechanics.
God,
This is why the Vulcans didn't like it.
I would laugh if this had Q written all over it, or AQ.
I mean, as far as Q, it could have Q in it, because he's just voice acting, and the whole reason why they stopped using him in the live action series is because he's getting old, and Qs generally don't age. Although they did a thing in Picard where they made him, he's just like, oh, mon capitan, you've gotten old here. Now I'm just like you, as a kind of cop out on why he actually aged. Like, they did a little bit of CGI at the beginning where to make him look younger, and then made him snap himself to match Picard's age range. But
yeah, they can make themselves look like whatever they want. They're the Q. They can make themselves like a Hydra or whatever it was that he did that one time.
Yeah. But that's kind of the point, and the whole reason why they they started discontinuing. Same reason why they discontinued Data, because Data is an android. He doesn't age, and yet Brent Spiner has been aging, so they cut him because of that.
How inconsiderate aging.
Huh?
How inconsiderate of him. Going around
I know,
aging.
right?
Although now it makes me think that
they should have used Brendan Fraser for that.
No, they should have used.
He still got his baby.
I cannot remember the name of the actor who plays Picard.
Patrick Stewart?
Oh,
they should have Patrick Stewart have played Q. That guy never ages.
He did.
He has. Patrick Stewart has. He did have a band there from like TNG through the X-Men movies where he didn't age much. Like he looked very similar.
For a good 30. He did not age for a good 30 years, but
and then all of a sudden he started.
Fun fact. Will Wheaton is now the same age as Picard, as Patrick Stewart was when he first started playing Picard in Next Generation. If you really want to feel old.
Yeah. And so, but yeah. So yeah, Patrick Stewart had that sort of, he hit that age, and then he just sort of seemingly froze for a very long time, and then started aging again.
Yeah, but I mean, there were a few people who just do. Keanu Reeves, he went from kid to serious adult and just stopped aging.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the most part, because yeah, there's some actors who just good makeup.
Seem to
I don't
like.
know, but they just seem to stop at some point, and then yeah.
I mean, up until very, very recently, Brendan Fraser didn't age either. Like, he was the same in the last Mummy movie he was in as he was in like the 90s.
Encino Man.
Yeah. Like, you look at like George of the Jungle and stuff, and then you see him in like Mummy, what was it, 4? And it's like he did not age. But he recently aged, although part of that could have been the makeup and the prosthetics and stuff for that movie he was in, The Whale, but also he just started aging eventually. Everybody does.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else we can think of for this? Because a lot of this is just, and a lot of this is set up for what I imagine the rest of the season's going to be like. Like, this is all the crazy crap that's going on that now we've got to unravel. Okay, what's happening with Chakotay and the Protostar? What's happening with this? What happens with this? What happens with that? What happens with that? Okay, we got to fix that. Oh, we can do this and that. And so it's like, yeah.
The crazy general lady of Solom is really sexy voice. Besides that, I love her voice. Just such a malicious. It just like drips with evil. It's beautiful.
But yeah, so yeah, this is a very messy beginning to kick off a. We're going to make it maybe slightly more messy, and then we'll start picking up the pieces.
Well, you gotta dump the puzzle out before you can put it together.
Yeah, that's the same idea. Yeah, same idea. That's the sort of way they seem to be taking this season. Is we're okay. We got a box of puzzle pieces. We're gonna make an absolute mess for a while, and then keep making it more messy, and then eventually we'll start putting the edge pieces.
You got to sort it out, you know?
Yeah.
You got to spread it around.
Yeah. And so then now we're going to start seeing them. Okay, we're going to find the corners. Find the edges. Yeah. Oh, here's a dog nose. Here's just like, oh, okay, yeah, okay.
That's not a dog, that's Murph. Stop being racist.
You don't know what I meant with dogs, so
Stop being speciesist.
But anyway, I think we've wrung this one pretty well out, and then some.
Jankum is no longer polite boy.
That was weird. That was yeah. That was
and it's like how you could just if you don't want to be here, just go back to polite Jankum and fix the ship. Like, no, it's more logical to keep you out of trouble. It's never too late to turn back from a bad decision. He's like, no, I'm not getting cold feet. I'm not turning around. It's like, you say that, but you're terrified. Shut up, Zero.
I believe Zero's words were abject terror.
Abject terror, yes.
I think.
And he's like, would you stop that?
Oh, and using Zero as a flashlight.
Yeah. And it's like, what are you doing? I'm defusing the situation and the conflict.
De-escalating the conflict.
Yes, de-escalating the conflict by floating them down, then using him as a torch. Not again, which means he's done it before. I don't remember him using Zero as a torch before, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let's see. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
I just want more cutbacks to just Jellicoe. Just slowly,
Jellicoe cats.
just feeling something's wrong. There's shenanigans afoot.
Oh, and I guess Chakotay's still lost. Guess going through the wormhole didn't work out that well for him.
But we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know
but
what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know
He
where
didn't
it
end up
led
going
him
where
off because we
Janeway
don't know
was,
where
so.
the protostar when he shot it through the worm first time didn't come out directly where Janeway was. It came out before. So he probably came out before all that.
Or after, and we'll suddenly run into him at some point.
Well,
Oh, hey.
I mean, with all the manipulation and stuff, maybe it is a Q. But, the Q aren't allowed to manipulate things like that. So they got to work around that.
And don't provoke the Borg.
If the Continuum's told you once, they've told you 1,000 times. Don't provoke the Borg.
Okay, I have a question. Not right through the episode. Do you think the Borg could assimilate a Q?
No. Because the Q it would kind of be like trying to assimilate Murph, or try to assimilate Medusa.
It's hard to assimilate.
They're non-corporeal. They're extra corporeal. They are beyond the corporeal plane. They can exist corporeally, but they exist outside of that space-time continuum. So therefore, they are outside of that realm of influence. They could just snap their fingers and be
Yeah, it's hard to assimilate a reality warper. They just say
exactly.
No, I don't think so. Probably because the Borg, when they stir them up too much, they get into other business and they just don't want to deal with it. Because then it's on them to make sure that the Borg don't do something stupid. So, don't get too out of hand. So it's like, yes.
And not just that, but they're not supposed to. They have their own version of the Prime Directive. That's why Q got in trouble for, and got turned human that one time. Because they are, they can't interfere. They have their own Prime Directive, and provoking the Borg and messing with the Borg creates ripples in space-time that is a bitch to iron out. And it's kind of like crumpling up a piece of paper. It's really hard to iron it flat again without tearing it. So they're just like, nope, no messing with the timeline.
Yeah, and Borg just sort of, you nudge the Borg and who knows what happens, because they can suddenly get out of their container where they're supposed to be and be someplace they're not supposed to be very quickly.
They're like,
you provoke them in the wrong way.
They are like insects. They're like ants or bees. They are social insects that I've never had an ant farm, but I have heard enough about them. You leave the top off, they'll get everywhere. It's the same thing with the Borg. If you give them too much leeway, or if you do one wrong move with them, they're going to get places they shouldn't be, and that's going to mess up the rest of space-time. And look what happened with Q in the first season of Next Gen with it was the first or maybe the second, when he first introduced them to the Borg. It's the same kind of thing. It's like No. You don't want to provoke the Borg because you don't want to open up that can of worms.
Mm.
It's not they can be affected by the Borg. It's they don't want to deal with that bullshit. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like I'm a Q expert or anything. I have a Q and a Q Junior roleplay account. I've read every Q book there was and have the audios of them and have the audio of Spock versus Q and have heard it multiple times and Spock versus Q too. I mean, what? I also have an audio.
Yeah.
I
Let's
also
go
have
before we go on another tangent.
poster.
Goodbye till next week. Maybe next week. If not, the week after.
Yeah, not next week. Probably not next week.
Bye-bye.